It's talkSPORT Tourist, the social. Sam Ellard and Flex from United View with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Yeah, that felt like a massive win last night for Manchester City, winning by 2-1 up to third in the table. They're now 4 points clear of sixth place Chelsea. You do have a game in hand when you look at Man City's fixtures coming up in the league. Home to Wolves, away to Southampton, home to Bournemouth and away to Fulham. It felt like a big night for them in their bid for top 5 football. Let's hear, shall we, from Pep Guardiola. He admits the last gasp win was hugely important. It was Mateus Nunes who scored in the last minute. Guardiola says he was delighted to get a win over such a good team.
Our commitment in every single ball and press and being there, no doubt about that. And of course against Aston Villa, so difficult to create chances, but we create enough. Not making it clear, have an incredible keeper, maybe one of the best keepers in the world. So, come on, Aston Villa, the best squad. You see, the best squad is what the team is. So, Unai is a master. So, to play this type of games, I know how they attack, how they defend the set pieces, how we defend the set pieces today again. So, yeah, really pleased for many with things. Otherwise, you cannot win against the opponents.
Yeah, Flex, massive win for Man City. I've got to say, by the way, the Aston Villa fans believe Emiliano Martinez is the best goalkeeper in the world. For someone who's supposed to be the best goalkeeper in the world, goodness me, he makes a lot of mistakes, doesn't he? It's so frustrating.
We've tried to tell Dan Bardell this for a long time.
Do you think Dan actually believes that, though? Or do you think he's just into the hype too much? He doesn't actually think he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
Well,
he's not
Dan's a good
than
football
Alisson,
man.
is he?
Dan's a proper football man, so he knows Alisson's better, I'm sure. But
Raya's better.
Pickford's better. He doesn't agree with things like that. No.
Well, I've got to say that is a nonsense opinion.
Yeah, and Dan's thing is that he gets in the the Euro Team of the Year, or he's in the equivalent of the Ballon d'Or of the goalkeeper team. All of that because he's got the award. He's like says it. He's in it.
That's great. But unfortunately,
he's not. He makes a lot of mistakes.
The mistake last night.
Awful. It's an easy shot from Bernardo Silva.
It's one of the more easier saves the goalkeeper will ever have to make.
100%.
And he just drops, and he cost them in the Champions League. And it's I read something, Flex, in the paper the other day about when Unai Emery first walked into Aston Villa. He wasn't having Martinez.
Really?
He really what he wanted a new goalkeeper. It was something that was on top of it.
He's not awful.
No, he's not.
He's not awful, but I think the pedestal he's been put on is too high for me.
Yeah, we know he won the World Cup. We know he played. He had a ridiculous final, didn't he? But
because he's got big character.
Yeah, and he's a character. But also, when you talk the talk, you got to make sure you walk the walk. And he's frustrating to watch because I just think he makes too many clangers for someone that's supposed to be a top goalkeeper.
He does, and you look at when he rocked up to PSG, he's got the hair, and he's put the cap on purpose for the trophies. Mate, it's what you do.
You then got to make sure you
stop making it about you. Just play the game, And like I know from the Onana experience, when you make it about you and you don't back it up, you got egg on your face. So I think he needs to take it down a notch. I was at that World Cup final, actually, right behind the goal when he was doing all those shenanigans, and that is where he is. That is where he's at his best. I understand that. Yeah. So you're probably not going to be able to take this bit out of his personality. It's who he is as a character. But I think what we're seeing is some of the limitations within that, where it backfires.
I was at that game as well. We both think
crazy.
That was silly, wasn't it?
Unbelievable.
That's almost certain that's the best game of football I'll ever go to.
Well, you wasn't at Old Trafford on
Thursday
night.
I knew you were going to say that, weren't you?
I thought that until this Europa League quarter-final went.
Certainly then, in terms of the magnitude of the occasion and the magnitude of the game.
No, that game was amazing.
I know Man City, their form over the last few weeks has picked up, and they have won 4 of their last 5 league games. But it just looks hard work, doesn't it? Every game they're in, it looks like it's a hard slog.
That's what I took from the game. Right, listen, they overall they dominated City. Right, 14 shots, 6 on target versus Villa's 7 and 3. And they always dominate possession. I understand that, but when I watched the game 90 minutes. When you actually watched that game, there were large periods where City just looked like they weren't going to score. They looked like they were contained very easily, especially in the first half. Villa kept breaking the Manchester City lines on the counter-attack. They got a lot of joy. And I at the end of that game, I was like, this is a missed opportunity for Villa, because Villa are good enough to go there and put it on Man City. And I don't think they did. I think they will leave there with regrets that they didn't actually go for it. And I left there thinking, this Man City rebuild is so big, what they have to do. Gundogan, miles off it. Bernardo Silva, yes, he scored, and Pep was, bigging him up about even in their worst moments, he was running a record amount of kilometres and stuff. I get that, but he's not there anymore. Kevin De Bruyne leaving. Ederson wasn't in net last night, but leaving, John Stones, injuries, Kyle Walker, on it, gone. Like, there's so much work that needs to be done, and the players they've brought in this rebuild, like Savinho and Doku and Grealish, what's going on there? Probably done. He's done. They've got so much work to do, and I just looked at them. And look, you can't count against them being able to do it. They've just spent £180 million in the January transfer window because the standards dropped. So what are they going to do in the summer? But I just looked at their team of what they still have to fix, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's crazy to think everything you said is spot on, and then they've got those charges hanging over them. It's crazy to think how long it could take for them to potentially be where they are, because they spend. People forget, Flex, how much money they spent in January, and you're absolutely bang on the money. They haven't.
It's big money.
Marmoush is a good player.
Marmoush looks really
good,
but
they haven't improved at all. I think you make a good point about Villa going away with regrets, because I thought it was the same in the away game against PSG. Now I know it's not unnormal for a team to go away from home and look to sit deep and play on the counter attack, but I thought Aston Villa in that game, in the PSG game, and I agree with you last night. I think they show teams too much respect. And I think Aston Villa are such a good team offensively. Do you know what, Flex? If you looked at that game last night, right, and you look at both teams on paper, Aston Villa's team right now, in terms of the way players are playing, they got a better team than Man City. They had a deeper bench than Man City. You almost feel the onus should be on them to go to Man
100%.
City, take the game
They're
to
good
them.
enough to do it.
And you're right, they sit deep and they almost just allow pressure on themselves.
I don't know why, and of course they play with this high line that Emery's employed. I'm not deployed. Sorry, I'm not asking him to change that. It was just a belief thing. It wasn't anything else.
Flex. So we got City 61. Do we both agree they're going to come third?
City will come third.
Great. City 61, Forest 60, Newcastle 59, Chelsea 57, Villa 57. So basically saying out Forest, Newcastle, Chelsea, Villa, 2 get in, 2 don't get in.
The top 5 will stay as it is. Chelsea, no chance, mate. Chelsea, no chance.
I think they're the weakest team out of
Chelsea
all.
got no chance, in my opinion. I think they're playing too poorly. They have to go away to Newcastle. They have to go away to Forest as well. If those games are draws because Newcastle want to just keep them at bay and Forest want to keep them at bay, they're done. And for me, Villa, you look at Newcastle's next games, at Ipswich at home is the game in hand. That'll put them 5 points out of reach. Nah, Villa are done.
Think they're done?
Yeah, Villa are not getting in the top 5. And neither are Chelsea.
No, so it's the same top 5. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it stays.
I think Villa are a better team than Forest.
They are,
Forest
but I just
have got 3 points on them and a game in hand. So
exactly.
You're kind of right. It feels like
I just think Forest will just find another big performance.
Yeah. I think Forest have got tricky games.
Brentford at home, if they can win that.
Brentford at home, yeah. That's 6 points with 4 games to go, yeah. So there we go. Thank God we got a decent race for the top 4, right? Otherwise, this
well, even that's kind of, it's not the best.
No, but at least it's
something. But what are you moaning for?
Who said I was moaning?
Oh, I can say you.
I wasn't complaining. I was making an observation.
You're getting ready for the weekend.
I was making an observation about the situation that we find ourselves in, Flex.
So really, it is a poor league. Really, that's right. It's true.
If I could look all the way down to the team that are 14th, poor, by the way, Manchester United. You could be 17th come the weekend.
So.
Which I think is absolutely so. Unbeaten.
What's the difference between 16th, 17th?
Yeah, no good.
What's the difference between 15th and 16th?
Yeah, what's the difference between 5th, 6th to 16th, 17th? Right. All the same thing, isn't it?
That's a bit bigger, but where we are now,
unbeaten in the Europa League, you'll never sing that.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. We're going to be, invincible, golden Europa League. Are you
going to go around calling yourself the Invincibles?
Well, that's what would be
the Europa League Invincibles.
That's what would be, wouldn't we?
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.